Jenny from the Cross Stitch Emporium, and we are going to talk all things notions today. What's a notion? I don't know. It's in my opinion, a notion is anything that you like to use with your stitching that isn't thread, pattern, floss. Excuse me, linen, pattern, floss, or Ada pattern, floss, however you like to stitch. So what I thought I would do is I'd just walk you through kind of how I think about notions, talk to you about what we've ordered in the shop, for the shop, and just kind of where we're at this week with the shop. Super exciting. We've wrapped up a business plan. So we had a business plan, but now that we're 3 weeks in, we're like, oh, we should adjust some things. So not big, you know, we're not turning the Titanic here. We're just left and right propeller a little bit here and there, just to kind of refine it so that when we go to talk financing for our pole barn, because we really don't want to take it all of our savings, we have a plan. I guess that's fair to say. All right, so let's just start with first, thank you. Thank you for those who have liked, subscribed, and commented. Your comments sometimes are what get me through the day. Not in a bad way. Like, I'm not like, but this can be frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. Like, in my mind, all shopkeepers, like, they just stitched all day and waited for customers to come in, and, unicorns and rainbows. Rainbows exist. Unicorns, I haven't seen one yet. So I really had to I just kicked the table. I had to come to grips with what it means to be a shop owner, inventory, trying to figure out the needs of the people who are going to frequent your shop, and, money in, money out. Let's make sure you don't kill the bank. There's lots of things, not just stitching, though I have gotten a few things stitched. But let's talk about when I stitch, what I think is important, and then if you've got great ideas, put them down below for me, and we will definitely look at those as things to bring into the shop or figure out how to support through local makers. So let's talk Life's Lemons. I've decided, because this pattern just makes me happy, that I was going to kit up Life's Lemons. This is a pattern released last year by The Proper Stitcher. When they stitched it, I don't know who stitched it, if Annie stitched it or if she had one of her model stitchers stitch it, but she stitched it on 32 count Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. It finished 6.5 by 5. The stitch count is 103 wide by 79 high, and I'm squinting because if I put my glasses on, you're only going to see the ring lights around my eyes. And she has 2 over dies and DMC for the rest, and she gives you a conversion in the chart, so don't feel like you have to use over dies. I find I like to stitch with DMC and to toss an over die or 2 in. Now, I do treat myself on some patterns just to go completely over die, but for the most part, I pull DMC, I find an over die that makes me happy, and I add it. So you'll see what I've done with this one. But there's the chart that I kitted up. This is the pattern, but I actually make a working copy so I can write and scratch and whatnot on it, because sometimes I make changes, sometimes I might want to add something and I got to count. So I like to write all over it. And to me, charts they're art. So I like to keep them pristine. So this will go back in the little plastic covering and sit in my project bag. The first thing I do, though, when I get a chart is I make the copy. From there, I like to find a project bag that kind of goes along my theme. Summer, seasonal. This one happens to be made by a friend of mine named Tracy, OG Stitchery, and it's got lemons and yellow. So I thought, oh, that's appropriate. I was kitting this up yesterday and I had myself a glass of lemonade because lemons it's just that time of year. Can't really tell right now because we're overcast and windy, but summer's coming. It was like 60 degrees. So I pull the pattern. I usually pull the floss. In this case, I have all the DMC that I needed. I thought I was gonna have to go to the store, but I found them all. Is that all? Oh no, I missed one. And I pulled one over die. And that over die happens to be Gentle Arts Lemon Drops, because it said lemon. Like, why not? I also found this piece of mystery fabric. Sadly, I have a bunch that I just had chopped chunks off of, picked up on giveaway tables. I think it's 28 count. That's what I counted when I counted the fibers. So it's 28 count mystery. It's a little bit, it's not white. It's kind of creamy color because Annie loves a good white flower. And I wanted the yellows to, you know, be able to be seen off of that. I will probably do a few test stitches on the fabric to make sure that everything can be seen and not lose any of it, lose any of the floss. So far, pattern, floss, needle minders. I don't know about you, but I've got 2 dogs. If you've got little kids, you just always want to be able to find your needle. So your needle's your preference. I'm trying to bring in a variety of needles into the shop so that if you need needles, you can just add them onto your order, or you know that I've got them. So I'm trying to keep them up to date and up to stock, and into stock. 28s are hard to find, but 24 and 26s seem to be pretty easy to come by. So every day I get on and look to find my needles. So DMC. A lot of people like to bobbinate their DMC. I like floss drops. Oops. And what I do is I use a thread winder. I do not have any in the shop yet, but I hope to carry Thread Thy Needle Stitchery. Stacy, her husband Brian, makes the most amazing thread winders. I know she has them in her shop. I'm hoping once they kind of get their shop up and running that I can chat with Brian and carry some in mine too. But that'll come. That'll come. And I like a thread bed. I like to park that excess thread right here, and it's just got a little bit of felt or quilt batting. Sometimes they come so that they're folded and snapped. I just like it to be in here because I like to keep track of it, and when I'm done for the evening, to keep track of everything, I like to put everything back in my bag, even if I'm going to come back to the stitch the next day. I have my working copy, and how do I keep my floss organized? So if I've used floss, and you don't need, it's not like a full coverage piece. It's just, this piece, like I said, was I think 100 and, well, let me not lie to you, where is it? It's 103 stitches wide by 79 high. So it's not huge. And if you look at it, you can kind of tell, there's some pretty solid lemon stitching and green. The blues for the border, but for the most part, it'll go pretty fast. So I just went and pulled, this is through 839, it's a brown, and it's called for, but I mean, I've used it on a different project, but I have plenty of floss here. I have some I've got to put on a floss drop. I do have floss drops, the Cottage Garden, the Cottage Cat Design, Heidi. You also might know her as the Potty Mouse Stitcher. She was kind enough to send me a variety of floss drops to keep in the store. I don't know if I'm going to list them in the store or if I'm going to keep them for the actual shop. But this is ones that they usually come in, I think, a pack of 10 or 20. And I'm going to bobbinate these up, or floss drop these up. With that, I don't like my floss just to hang out, right? So I usually do it in numerical order. This is not numerical order, but I use, they call it cabochons, but it's a 2-inch ring. You can buy them on Amazon. Punch a hole in these little babies, and my floss is contained. And it makes me happy. So afterwards, once I make sure that this linen is going to work, this 28 count, I will bobbinate that. What else do I keep in here? I keep scissors. Oh, where's my, let me just pull this off. I use scissors. This is made by my friend Deb, Rhode Island Deb. I think she made it for me to put in the shop. I'm keeping it because she only sent me one. But I will coordinate with her to get some more so that we can keep some more in the shop. But I heard somebody, what did they call it? They called it artisanal. I'm from Wyoming. That doesn't make me illiterate. It just makes me, it's a big word. I can't say literally either. So we're just going to go with it. But it's, oh man, I should have written it down. Artisanal stitching. I don't know. I just think you need fancy things. And especially if you get fancy things that your friends make, right? So I wanted to be able to bring some of those to you. Notions to you that you can either purchase for your stitching retreats or what you want to send to a stitching friend. This happens to be one that makes me happy. I do like a good scissor fob on my scissors because when you lose the scissors, you know, if you're sitting with something on your lap or whatever, you know, they're easier to find. There's something heavy. And if your scissor fob should weigh just a little bit more, when you drop it, it will hit first. So that it'll hit the ground like this and not like this. I didn't know that. That was an aha moment for me. So scissor fobs will be coming. They are being made and I've ordered them. Project bags will be coming. If you know, I'm from Wyoming. My bag maker's name is Becky and she lives 2 hours from me. So I've got to make arrangements to drive down to Casper and pick up bags from her. I was supposed to call her last week. I'm sorry. Becky, if you're listening to this, my bad. I'll get in touch. If you're an in-hand stitcher or a Q-snap, I do not have Q-snaps in the shop. Grime guards, I do not have grime guards in the shop. These are things that will come eventually because I think the first grime guard I ordered from was somebody in the UK, and it's my favorite grime guard. My friend Leslie makes amazing grime guards. I'll figure out grime guards, but I think they're important to put for me on my fabric because I don't like to wash my projects after they're done. There's a whole philosophy on that. Stitch please over here. This is a safe zone. You don't have to wash your fabrics. All right. So when I'm ready to stitch, those are all the things. Now, while I'm stitching, there are things that I love. At my stitchy spot, I keep an Ort container. Now, this one just happens to be one that I picked up. I don't know where, but I just like to keep my Orts in an Ort container so that they're not everywhere, and I empty it out every day. That's my OCD, but every day I empty out my Ort container. I do not save my Orts, I throw them away. I hope a bird somewhere can use them. When I'm stitching, I like to use either beeswax or my friend Heidi has, let's see where we go. Okay, she has this soy wax and I like it. It's a thread conditioner. This is my personal one that I had bought from her, but it's just, you put it on your fingers and rub it along your floss. You know, just like you'd run your beeswax. I really didn't understand that until my friend Shelly, the antique needleworker, was like, train that floss. And I was like, what does that mean? Remember, I only started stitching in 21. And so I'm relatively new at stitching. So when she said that, I paid attention, I perked up, I watched her video. Train your floss. It's important. I also, next to my stitching spot, have a Notions box. And this contains all my things. Let me grab mine. My husband was so sweet. I picked up this box. He added this handle. I literally hang my scissors off that handle. It makes me happy. I think I picked that handle up at Hobby Lobby, but it's a hand. It makes me giggle. That's why we're called the Emporium. Like, I make things work. And I bring things in that make me happy. You should too. Your stitching spot should always make you happy. I have some lotion in there for if my hands are super dry and I'm working with silk. I've only worked with silk a couple times. Let me not act like I'm the expert there, but I'm learning a lot about silk. Here is my Stitchy Spot wax. I keep a highlighter and a pencil. I keep my ever faithful, what is it, stag dabbit? I don't know. It's for when I have to frog. I keep needles. These happen to be size 26 Colonial Petites. I keep an extra set of scissors. I don't know why, but my friend Rhode Island Deb gave me these, and that just happens to be a fob. Somebody made me that fob, but because it's summertime and I've got that bee on there, so I change out my fobs for I've got my frog. When I'm having a day, I just put my frog out and I'm like, don't talk to me, I'm frogging. My husband knows. He just kind of looks over and see what I'm doing. My frog's out. He doesn't mess with me. I happen to keep an extra needle minder in here. It says stitch once, frog twice. Stitch once, frog twice. Anyways, I just keep it in here because then it keeps track. This is my snag dabbit. You'll see it's got a little thing when you're doing a stitch and you need it to lay down right, you just right through. So that's all in here. We will probably keep versions of this stitchy box in the shop. I'm not really 100% sure on shipping just yet on these babies, but they will be in the shop when the shop opens at the end of the summer. I also carry everything in one of these. This is a jewelry box. You can get them on Amazon. My friend Angie, the Tiny House Stitcher, happened to make this one for me, and it makes me so happy. I also have another one that I had made before she gave me this as a gift, and it's filled and in my stitchy bag that travels everywhere with me. And it carries my scissors, needles, an extra floss drop or two because I have been known to ruin them and need a new one. So notions are important. So if you think of something that I've missed, drop me a note below or send me an email. I'm happy to look into it, to research, to find out how we can carry it. And I love supporting handmade. So I like to find, I'm working with Christina at Ziggy's Closet. She is sending me needle minders, thread keeps, and my first bit of merch will be here. And so I think that's coming. So she's made needle minders for the store. The other thing I wanted to share with you is my friend Deb. So early in this process, I ordered counting pins. Oh, where's my board? Oh, here's my board. Whoops. Counting pins. She's got a felt tomato on the top. I love them. And she made blueberries. Blueberries, I think, became kind of a deal because we're going to Maine for the Library Stitchers Retreat. The other thing I asked her to do is I'm like, how brilliant would this be? And she's like, very. It's a counting pin. It also has a double use for it. You ready? It has a magnet on top. So when you drop your needle, you drop your scissors like I did. Hang on, watch this. And there you go. Notion. Useful, beautiful, and for sale in the shop. So, because they're all unique, like she has no two the same, I put them in some groupings. I've got brown and blue earth tones, brown and blue earth tones in the shop right now. If there's a specific color you want, just send me a note below and I'll see what I can do to maybe send you a couple pictures and you can pick one out and then I can do a special order for you. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting my dream. I didn't know it was a dream, and then it was. And I appreciate all the help. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate for those of you that have ordered, and I appreciate those of you that have reached out and given me some suggestions and given me some guidance and shared your story. I had a lady share her story the other day and I was crying, literally crying. And so it just meant a lot to me for her to reach out. She was a veteran. She had a stitching shop for a little bit, and it just meant the world to me. So I appreciate that. And this is a community. We are in this together, meaning we all have different tastes. We all set up our stitching spots different. We all have different requirements, but our stitches unite us, and that's important. So if you get a chance, please like and subscribe. Please drop me a line, a comment. Let me know what you're stitching on. Let me know if there's any notions that I should be thinking about, and if there's a maker that I need to introduce myself to. I'm starting to do some collaboration with some of these makers to bring you small kits, and I'm really looking forward to the next step in the next couple of weeks. We have our linen on order again. I've got some linen that has arrived, and then I will be putting up in the shop either next week or the week after, and then my bigger shipments will be here in a few more weeks. So things are moving along, and I really appreciate your support. So with that, I hope your stitches lay flat. You have a great day, and we will see you soon. Maybe. I can't actually say.